Ladies and gents, Omusuji Reaction, and this is Alexander the Great, Part 3 by the channel Epic History TV. Yes, this series has been awesome so far. Obviously, it's by the Epic History TV channel, so obviously it's going to be great. But Alexander, so far, he has got everything that I haven't seen with many great warriors of the past. That's why he's remembered as one of the greatest of all time. He's conquering places and then putting his trusted people in the provinces basically to, I guess, govern the area. So there are very little revolts and I guess, things like that. So he's clearly politically smart, because it makes sense. Like, he went from Greece all the way to the Indus River and basically conquered all those places and kept it. Obviously there were many revolts, but they were crossed down. There was no significant revolt and places that people took over that he had to go back and conquer it. Only way you can do that is if you put really trusted people on the governing places, I guess. So that's pretty damn smart. That's why he could conquer all these places the way he did. And when it comes to military war aspect of it, he's really crazy as F. He literally charges by himself when the war starts, when the battle starts. So basically, battle start, he takes his small team of people and just charges forward. So everybody's like, holy shit, it's Alexander, let's attack him. That works as a diversion as well. When his basically hoplites and phalanx, basically starts with the phalanx, 18-foot phalanx with the Sarissa, is it called? They basically attack and everybody gets caught off guard with surprise, like, holy shit. We were targeting Alexander. We didn't focus on the 18-foot spears that is coming towards us, and that surprise factor always works. And the best thing about it is everybody knows who Alexander the Great is, right? Anybody in his place would basically sends hoplites and phalanx first, and then as a later stages attack themselves. Alexander does things other way around. He charges himself first. You have to have a massive balls and real battle, I guess, battle tactics, battle senses in order to do that, because he could have easily died in any of the battle. Clearly he didn't, right? He never lost a battle because he never died on the battlefield, right? All the way to the Indus River, the way he conquered. I'm pretty sure that he died with some kind of a disease or something, right? I'm not so sure about that. So yeah, Alexander the Great is badass. So let's go to this part. Remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. You'll be supporting my channel that way. 75% of you who watches my channel regularly are not subscribed. So just hit the subscribe button. You'll know when I upload a video, because I upload really diverse genre of videos. I upload history videos, sometimes I upload meme type of videos, and nowadays I'm uploading lots of Warhammer things. So if that's your thing, I guess stick around for an hour or so. I'll be uploading another Warhammer video the usual time I do. So yeah, let's do this one.
In 334 BC, Alexander, 21-year-old ruler of the small Greek kingdom of Macedonia, led an invasion of the vast Persian Empire. It seemed impossible.
Look at his hair. It's like, very Japanese anime type of game type of hair, like how they have in Final Fantasy, spike cut type of hair. Obviously it's not like that, but it looks like that. Can you make any more Chad character than this?
Odds. But thanks to Greek military dominance and Alexander's fearless leadership, he won two great battles against the Persians, at the river Granicus and at Issus. Having subdued Persian lands west of the Euphrates River, he now headed east into the empire's heartlands, seeking a final showdown with the Persian king, Darius III. Receiving news that a great Persian army led by Darius had assembled at Gaugamela, near modern Mosul in Iraq, he made straight for it. This was Darius's last chance to stop Alexander, and Alexander's chance to smash Persian power once and for all. Darius had chosen to fight on open ground, where his advantage in numbers would be more telling. His soldiers had also worked hard to clear and flatten the terrain, to make it suitable for Persian war chariots. By modern estimates, the Persian army was between 50 and 80,000 strong, and made up of contingents from across the empire. Infantry from Syria and Babylonia, cavalry from Armenia, India and Central Asia.
India, all right.
Up to
Persian has had Indians with them. What, Persia conquered India? I don't know that. Damn, that's a new thing.
200 scythed chariots. Even a handful of war elephants.
Yeah.
Alexander's army was smaller and may have been outnumbered by as much as 2 to 1. He deployed his units in their usual formation. On the left flank, Thracian and Thessalian cavalry, commanded by Parmenion. In the centre, the Macedonian veterans of the phalanx, each armed with their 18-foot sarissa pike. On the right flank, Alexander with his elite cavalry, the Companions, and his best infantry, the Hypaspists. These were the units with which Alexander planned to launch his main attack. Greek hoplites formed a second line and supported both wings, which were angled back to guard against encirclement by the Persians. The battle began when Alexander led his wing out to the right, a move that took the Persians by surprise.
Yeah, this is so good because the last video we saw how the battle happened, in that Darius basically couldn't engage his whole army because it was really small patch of the land which from they were attacking. So clearly he couldn't attack with his entire army, and he had to run away because how aggressive Alexander was. So in this one, right, he learned from that mistake and he made sure they all fight in an open plain. So his entire 100,000 strong can basically attack 80,000, 100,000, same thing. And they have Indians as well, which is surprising to me because I didn't know Persian had Indians as soldiers at that time. Maybe they were mercenaries, or did Persia, conquered India at the time? I don't remember that. And obviously they are war elephants because of course they are. Indians are there, I guess. So with odds of 2 to 1, with war elephants of any, Alexander the Great is apparently going to win this because of course he will. I guess we know it definitely didn't lose here, right? If he had lost, he wouldn't have conquered all those places. So this battle, if any, especially at the time they fought, would be one of the most badass show of dominance that anybody did, right? Because with this kind of odd, with other side having war elephants, Alexander the Great is going to kick their asses. And imagine just moments ago, right? Just few years, decades, centuries, I don't know, where, that 300 thing happened, right? Where Persians basically, trying to cross certain area and there are only 300 Spartans were holding it, right? In that, how movie 300 basically dramatically, but kind of showcase it, like how many Persians there were. It's like entire sea of Persians. That's how many there were. Like same thing as here, right? The tens of thousands at least against 300 Spartans. So that kind of an image of Persia, right? Pesky Greece, nothing but just Spartans who are powerful. Now they're seeing somebody from Macedonia is uniting Greek forces and coming towards them, the mighty Persian Empire against Darius. The Persian Empire, who I guess dwarf anybody that comes against them because they have so many number, the same type of number, 100,000 soldiers are going against this Macedonian king, right? Around this time, the field is gonna change because Alexander will show like Persian Empire with the same forces, it ain't shit against Macedonians, against him. And from here, the entire field will change. Like after Alexander, the Greek Empire is going to be strong. From the ashes of the Greek Empire, Romans will emerge, and we know how that shit turns out, right? So from here, Persian basically sitting top of the world, thinking we are the most powerful. Entire field will change. Greeks, after Greeks, from there, Romans is just, yeah.
Could Alexander really be trying to encircle their huge army? The Persians mirrored his movement, taking troops away from their centre to outflank Alexander and prevent him leaving the area they'd cleared for the Persian chariots. But Alexander's unusual maneuver was a trap to entice the Persians to weaken their centre. When he saw that it had worked, he ordered his Greek cavalry to charge, to keep the Persians fixed in position. A giant cavalry battle developed on the right wing. Darius, meanwhile, judging this to be the decisive moment, unleashed his chariots.
Against Sarissas.
But expert Agrianes javelin throwers took out horses and crews, while the Greek infantry opened lanes, allowing the chariots to pass.
Javelins are really heavy hitting, right? Because so far before this, before javelins, it was like arrows, right? Arrows are this small thing, basically, obviously it hits, right? It kills people, definitely. But javelins are just, you know, these massive spears that you throw, right? I mean, closest thing I ever played was Fallout New Vegas, where the Legion throws javelin. I was like, holy shit. So these massive javelins, right, when they come close, you throw it like fucking arrows. But they are javelins, so every javelin has potential to, I guess, impale anyone that it hits. Which is just fucking powerful when it comes to, I guess, you know, range attacks.
Harmlessly through. Now Alexander led his companion cavalry and parts of the Macedonian phalanx in a headlong charge straight at the weakened Persian centre, fighting his way towards Darius himself.
I love how he just, you know, the chariots just went by and they're like, fuck it, let them go, we're going to attack the center now with the Sarissas.
Ferocity of Alexander's assault threw the Persians into panic. The center of the army broke and ran, King Darius himself leading the rout.
The war is already over.
But Alexander's left wing was in serious trouble. Parmenion, facing a huge onslaught by Persian cavalry, was virtually surrounded. Indian and Scythian horsemen had even ridden through a gap in the Greek line. But rather than wheeling and attacking the Greeks from behind, they'd carried straight on to loot their camp.
Indian and Scythians like, fuck the Persians, we are here for loot, man, money.
Parmenion sent a desperate appeal to Alexander for help. The king abandoned his pursuit of Darius, regrouped, and charged the Persian right wing. Hardest and bloodiest fighting of the battle, claiming the lives of 60 of Alexander's companions. Finally, as news of Darius's flight spread across the battlefield, the last Persian horseman turned and fled. The Battle of Gaugamela was a stunning and complete victory for Alexander. According to ancient sources, he lost just a few hundred men, while the Persians lost thousands.
That can't be right. I feel like that's numbers are, I guess, deflated a bit on the Alexander side. He must have lost thousands at least. Hundreds cannot be a thing, right? There were 80-90,000 Persians against his, whatever, 30-40,000. It's like 2-to-1 odds. And this kind of a battle, I guess, as soon as the two army hit, right, tens and probably hundreds of death happens immediately. because cavalry just basically hits suddenly, or everybody just hits suddenly. Those kind of massive impact, surprise impact, basically claims lots of lives or from the start, right? This is not some movie where they just fight and just hit some armor here and there. There are definitely many lethal blows immediately. So I feel like that can't be right. But that's one thing so damn sure. Alexander's tactics were way better than I imagined from the past. The way he led the cavalry and the side and then just decided, let's hit center, let all those chariot pass by so he can basically focus on the center of the assault with the Surisas and things. And you know, the way his army is, cavalry, right, hoplites and the center Surisas, he has lots of maneuverment here and there where he can maneuver left to right and you know, devise different tactics, and it works. It's just awesome. And if we were to play a game where we have this army, we're supposed to conquer places, this is how we would play. We are literally in the front of the war, you know, running towards the enemy while our army follows in behind. And when we play, we would feel like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is not how real war happens, right? No main emperor runs like to, you know, head first like that. Alexander the Great did. That's how ridiculous this is.
Alexander had routed Darius's great army. And now the road to Babylon, the empire's main capital, lay open. The Macedonian king entered the great city in triumph, recognized by Persian officials as its new rightful ruler.
He just walked by.
So too at the city of Susa, where Alexander ceremonially took his seat upon the royal throne of Persia. In the Zagros Mountains, at a pass known as the Persian Gates, a courageous Persian force held up Alexander's army for a month. The Greeks eventually found a mountain path that bypassed their position, allowing them to encircle and wipe out the defenders. In early 330 BC, Alexander reached Persepolis.
Persians like, this is the gate, we're gonna hold you off. Alexander like, what? Alright. I just defeated your main army. You think you're gonna hold me off, really?
The empire's ceremonial capital. Alexander wanted to appear as a liberator to the Persians, as a legitimate successor to King Darius. But now he ordered Persepolis to be pillaged and burnt. Retribution for the Persian invasion of Greece and the burning of Athens' sacred temples in 480 BC.
I don't agree with that, but yeah, doing this doesn't change any fact, right? Eye for an eye mentality. I mean, the people here didn't do shit. It was Darius, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he shouldn't have done that. But I guess this kind of shit happens a lot, especially around that time, and centuries and even millennia after that.
Alexander now headed north into Media, where Darius had taken refuge in the royal city of Ecbatana.
He's just traveling
Alexander
long distances.
was determined to capture Darius, but the fugitive king fled east in the hope of raising a new army in the provinces of Parthia, Bactria, and Sogdia. It was not to be. As Alexander closed in, the Persian king was murdered by one of his own governors, Bessus, who then proclaimed himself the empire's new ruler. Alexander gave orders for Darius to be buried in the royal tombs of Persepolis, alongside his ancestors. Then he paused to organize his vast new empire. Alexander appointed viceroys to rule the provinces.
You know, you play a certain game, open world game, where you have to manage lots of resources and shit that you conquer, and you realize, oh, I've been conquering for past 3-4 days. I've conquered so many things. Let's manage first before I start conquering. That's what Alexander the Great is doing. He's literally playing an open world game right now.
On his behalf, keeping several Persians who had sworn loyalty in their posts. Then he resumed his march east, his goal to find and kill the usurper Bessus, subjugate the empire's eastern provinces, and reach the far edge of the world.
Oh, I love this. I like how he showed the globe rather than a fucking map, 2D map. When you see a globe, it just shows you the level of distances that he fucking traveled. Look at that. We feel like this is long, but fucking hell, when you see a globe, it feels like this and all the way to Egypt was a long fucking route. Because let's be honest, Africa is more bigger than any of you can see, I guess. Because the map folds from here to here, so obviously center will get crossed down to smaller size. This is why Africa looks smaller, but it's fucking not. This is so good. I mean, you know, this Greece, right? Small Greece with Spartans here, Athenians here. I mean, small idiots, right? Macedonians wasn't even a thing. A mighty Persian Empire attacked there, and 300 Spartans stopped them, like I said before. And everybody just saw these Greeks as some weaklings, right? Sparta is only a small body that has some balls, but as a overall, there's some weaklings because we are a mighty Persian Empire. All of that changed when basically Alexander the Great walked his ass inside here. And right now everybody's going to realize what Greeks are going to be like. And if going forwards from Greeks to, I guess, Romans and Roman Empire, how powerful that shit is going to be.
Research and artwork for this video comes from Osprey Publishing.
Yeah, this is such a fucking good series so far. I mean, no wonder Julius Caesar was constantly comparing himself with Alexander the Great. You know, one thing, obviously I haven't seen the entire Julius Caesar playlist yet, and I'm sure there are many people watching right now are pissed about it. Like, why are you not reacting to that? I will, chill out. But, you know, so far what I've seen about Julius Caesar and 3 parts of this, Alexander the Great, one difference I can see that Alexander the Great has more balls on him. Right, in the military sense, Julius Caesar is more politically there, I guess. Obviously, Alexander the Great is also politically smart. He knows when to stop and organize his place. So I guess it all falls up. It all don't fall apart before he reaches his conquering place near India or whatever. Right? He wanted to conquer India and beyond, Burma and God knows what. He probably wouldn't have stopped until Japan if it were up to him. But he wanted to, I guess, organize all shit. Basically, and he's gonna conquer, I guess, you know, lots of places, and after, you know, Greeks are going to take over at least where I'm living right now, state, right? Because you know, Indo-Greek, whatever it's called, right? That was a thing, right? So it's not like he didn't touch India. After that, he's, I guess, you know, alongside his children, God knows what, are going to take over some part of India at least. So yeah, that is that. But look at how many places he conquered, and then basically put people in charge who didn't revolt against him, who were loyal to him, because that's pretty important. Like what happened to Darius there. This is pretty frequent thing. Whenever you are sitting on a mighty throne, on a mighty empire, nobody does shit because everybody's, you know, are afraid of you. Whenever you're at the weakest, people close to you suddenly strikes and claims themselves as the new emperor. Like, that's going to change shit. Alexander the Great is coming for your ass. Right now is not the place to betray Darius and claim yourself as king. That's not going to work. So yeah, but that should happen. At least something like that didn't happen to Alexander the Great. He died with disease or something, as far as I know. So yeah. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. You'll be supporting my channel, and yeah, I'll know what type of videos to react to more, I guess. Check out the reaction I did, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast for the plays like History, Warhammer 40k if you like that. You know, for past week or so I've been reacting to that video, and I'm gonna react going I guess in future. And yeah, I'll see you next time.